All right. So today we will be talking about BLUF. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Grace.
So you might be asking, what is BLUF? Well, it's the bottom line up front. Um, it has its origins in military writing, but it can be used for all kinds of writing. And what it is it's stating your key message from the start. Whatever you're going to be going over, whatever you're going to be saying, you're saying it right up front. It's the bottom line up front. You want to get it right out in the open. Um, and when you're writing your BLUF, it's really the key message that you want your reader to take away. Um, so like for example, in the discussion part of one of the sample memos, they say right off the bat in the discussion, the striped garage is a dwelling under Illinois residential burglary statute. Right off the bat, that's where their discussion's going with. That's going to be what you're thinking about when you're going over the analysis, that eventually all this analysis will lead to that conclusion.
And why is BLUF useful? It's useful for both the reader and the writer. For the reader, it makes things more clear and concise. And if you're giving a memo to a busy attorney, then it can be a time saver. They should be able to just look at your topic sentences, look through your paper quickly, and understand the main takeaways they should be getting from it. And it's also useful for us as writers because it helps us organize our thoughts during the writing process and keeps us focused on the topic we're discussing generally and more specifically as we get into our topic sentences.
So how is it done? Well, you want to first sentence, you want to state your most important information first. Whatever you're going to be talking about, wherever you're going with your discussion or whatever your conclusion is almost, you want to say that first. Right off the bat, the reader knows exactly what you're going to be getting at when you're going through your analysis or whatever you're talking about. And a question I think we thought was a good one to ask before you even start writing is, what is the most important message that you want the reader to be thinking about when they're reading your work? So with every sentence you're writing, what is the one message you want back of your head for your reader to remember? That is what your BLUF should be when you do it. And when you do it, it should be an emphasis on the subject and the action. You want to clearly define who your subject is and what action they're partaking in. And we have another example where we can further explain how that is, but you really want to focus on who the subject is and what's going on. And when is it done? It's throughout your writing. It's not just at the beginning. Any place that you can fit a BLUF in, BLUF. Topic sentences should be BLUF. Analysis, when you're starting your analysis, BLUF. Anywhere where it's, appropriate, you do it. Like when you're getting into your analysis or when you're saying your conclusion, that's when you should be BLUFing.
We have two examples from our WA3 memos. One is of a more general BLUF that you would put towards the beginning of your discussion that just says, Mr. Jones will likely be liable for his dog's barking, which set into motion a chain of events that led to Skittles' injuries. Mr. Jones is a subject that you're going to want your reader to focus on and you're going to want them to focus on the action that is his liability. That's what you're going to be discussing in this general discussion section. And then a more specific BLUF that you would see as maybe as a topic sentence for causation would be, a dog's affirmative or aggressive act must produce or substantially produce in a natural and continuous sequence such that but for the act, the injury would not have occurred. The subject that you want your reader to focus on is the dog's affirmative or aggressive act, and the action that you want them to focus on is whether that act produced or substantially produced but for the acts, or substantially produced the injury, but for the acts, the injury would not have occurred. So those are two ways you can utilize BLUF more generally and more specifically as you're going through your writing and BLUFing along the way.
Yep, that's BLUF.